Hi there, my name is Aya. You're watching Aya Reads, and I'm here to talk about all the books I'm planning on reading for the rest of the year. So, as I'm filming this, and it's also going to be the day I'm going to be uploading it, it is November 5th, so I have 2 months to get to these books. So, we'll see how I'm going to be doing with that. Some of them you've already seen in previous TBRs, and this is going to be my final time to really force myself to read these books. And this is really going to be in no particular order. Well, actually, there is. I'm gonna start with like the random books, and then since you guys know that I have this goal of finishing as many series as I can, I'm gonna end with the series that have the highest priority that I really, really want to finish by the end of the year. The first two books that I really, really need to read are the first two Crescent City books, so House of Earth and Blood and House of Sky and Breath. So House of Earth and Blood is actually a reread for me. I've never reread this book. And as you guys know, the reason I want to get to these books is because the third book comes out at the end of January. So I need to read these books by then. So like I said, the House of Earth and Blood is going to be a reread. I've never reread it, and it's a pretty daunting reread because this book has 800 pages, and I know a big part of that is world building, and I didn't mind it the first time around, but as a reread, since I already am familiar with this world, it feels like a daunting task. But I also own this on ebook, which makes me usually get through books faster, so it is a very high priority that I get to this in November at the very least. And then House of Sky and Breath I actually never read. I seem to like Sarah J. Maas books and me. There's some sort of curse there, I'm pretty sure, because see, there's still a bookmark in there from when I tried to read it the first time. It seems like every time she comes out with a book, I'm in a book slump. It happened at least 3 times, and this is one of them. So I never got to this book. Like, I tried a bunch of times and then I just stopped because I obviously didn't want to ruin this book for myself because of my slump. And then it took me a while to get out of my slump, and then I knew that I had to reread this book, so I kind of pushed it off. And then she announced that she was going to come out with the third book, so I decided to just wait until then. So I really want to read this at least in December, and if not, no, I really want to get to this in December, like, for sure. Once again, another ginormous book, also around 800 pages. So yeah, we'll see. But I mean, I'm giving myself leeway that if I don't get to it by December, then at least I still have January before the third book comes out. But I really don't want to do that. I really want to just read this book by the end of the year, because I don't want this book to be overshadowed by the third book as far as like favorites of the year is concerned. So I really want to get to this before my favorites of the year are announced. Anyway, moving on. This series I have put on many a TBR this year because I was planning on reading it in January this year, and it's The King of Scars duology by Leigh Bardugo. So this book, I tried reading King of Scars and I DNF'd it because I realized that it had been such a long time since I read the Shadow and Bone trilogy and the Six of Crows duology. Yeah, I wanted to reread those, and since then I have reread them. In fact, I reread them almost a year ago, and I still have not read these two yet. My problem with with these books is that I know they're not a lot of people's favorites. I know a lot of people are disappointed in them. Nikolai is my favorite character. I love him, but I don't have the highest hopes for these two. But I mean, it is part of one of my favorite universes, so I do want to read them. And some of my favorite characters on here, like I said, Nikolai, but also Zoya and also Nina. So I love all of them. So I just need to buckle up. I don't want to go into 2024 never having read these. So, and these are pretty chunky, but I'm giving myself leeway because I know these are probably not going to be favorites of the year, so it's fine if I leave them until the end of December. And then I really want to read 'Tis the Season for Revenge. So I'm planning on reading a couple of Christmas novels this year. I don't know how many, but one of them I definitely do want to read is this book. And we actually match. That's cute. Yeah, I just heard so many good things about this book last year, and I never really got around to it last year, and I just want to read it. I heard so many good things about it, and I've been meaning to read it all year long. I don't really care to read, like, I could read a Christmas novel in May. I don't really care. but I do want to save a couple of them up for December. So this one was it. I really want to read that one. So I definitely am going to make priority. Like out of all the Christmas novels I'm going to read, this one is going to be the one that I'm going to be prioritizing the most. So now for 5 series that I desperately need to finish. So actually, as of right now, I still need to finish 12 series to reach my goal to get to 30 open series by the end of the year. And I'm sort of on track with that. Let me see. Yeah, so 12 still. So I have been making a concerted effort to limit the amount of series I'm starting and also to finish as many series as I can. And these 5, like I said, I am planning on finishing more, but these 5 definitely are high priority. The first one is The Heart Principle by Helen Huang. So this is the 3rd book in her like Kiss Quotient series. I really love the Kiss Quotient and I didn't really care for the 2nd book. And I've heard mixed things about this one because it's not really a romance, it's more a women's fiction. But it does follow a character that I really loved, Kwan. Basically, this is about Anna, and I think her mother is really sick and maybe she even dies. And then right around that time, she meets Kwan. Kwan is like this motorcycle sexy dude. Yeah, I do know that this was, Helen wrote this around the time when her own mother got sick. So it is very personal to her. But I think the combination of not really liking the 2nd book plus finding out that this is not, it's more women's fiction than romance made me put this off so long. But it's only 1 book that I need to finish for the series. And so it's not that big of a deal. So I really need to do it. It's very high priority for me. I don't want to go into 2024 having this still be an open series for me. Then I really want to finish the Green Creek series by TJ Klune. So this is a werewolf series following romances. So the first one is Wolfsong, which is one of my favorite books of all time. And I reread that book this year and I read Ravensong for the first time. And I really just want to continue on with this series. So the 3rd book is called Heart Song. You follow Kelly and Robbie and their love story has been pretty much, has been pretty much set up ever since the 1st book. And then the 4th book is called Brother Song. You follow Carter, and I don't think his love interest has really properly been introduced as of where I am in this series. These books, even though I really, like I said, I love Wolfsong, it's just these books are very sad. And from what I've heard of other people that have read this series, they only get sadder. Like it's just a book of sad stories. I did really love all the romances I've read about so far. I do have to say, it does focus more on the found family, on the pack dynamics, on the plot, as opposed to really the romance. There is romance in all of them, and they do have happily ever afters, but that's not like really the main focus. Plus, all of them are pretty big. So even though I really love them, they are pretty daunting. So I am planning on reading 1 a month. So I'm planning on reading Heart Song in November and Brother Song in December, and hopefully I can stick to that. Next, I really want to finish the Off-Campus series because I really want to get to the Graham Effect, and in order to do that, I need to finish, well, at least for me, I need to finish the Off-Campus plus the Briar U. So the plan is to finish Off-Campus this year, start and finish the Briar U series at the beginning of next year, and then finally get to the Graham Effect, which is a next generation story. So actually in the Graham Effect, you follow the daughter of the couple in the 1st book of the Off-Campus series. So I read The Deal and I loved that with all my heart. And I also read The Mistake, which I actually vlogged that experience, which I'll leave linked for you. I also vlogged like the werewolf, like the Green Creek books, the first 2, which I'll also leave. I think I've already linked it for you. But yeah, I really love those books. So I still need to read The Score, The Goal, and The Legacy. So The Score, you follow Allie and Dean, which Dean was a character I really enjoyed in the first 2 books. And in The Goal, you follow Sabrina and Tucker. Yeah, I think the last one is a accidental pregnancy, and I don't know what The Score is about. I don't really care. I really enjoy Elle Kennedy's writing. And then The Legacy is just a collection of novellas following all these couples, which I think are going to be very important to read. Even though not a lot of people really love this book, I think it's going to be important because it does set up like the next generation stories. So I'm very excited to finish this series this year. Then there is the Hellions of Havisham. So I really love reading historical romances during the winter time. So right now is actually the perfect time to finish this series. And it's one of the few historical romances that I still have open and I don't really want to start another historical romance. So I read Falling into Bed with a Duke, and I gave that one 4 stars. It was not really my favorite, but I do know a lot of people really love the second book, which is The Earl Takes All. And this is a dead brother's wife story, which in this time, it was illegal to marry your sister-in-law if her husband died. I don't really know the reasonings why, so this is going to be a very hard HEA to get. Basically, you follow, like, you have these twins, and they go hunting one day, like, go on safari, I think. And then the Earl actually dies, but before he does, he gets eaten by a lion, I think. So before he dies, he tells his twin brother that he needs to pretend that he's him when he goes back to England, because his wife is very heavily pregnant and she has had miscarriages in the past, and she cannot know that he died. But the problem is, the brother, who's going to pretend to be the Earl, he has had a crush on her for a while, but she hates him. So now he's back. He's back. Her husband is back, and she noticed a few changes in him. And he's obviously keeping this horrible secret. And once the secret gets out, it's illegal for them to be together. The drama of it all. I am so excited about this. Plus, I really love the cover. I think it's a very, very beautiful cover. Also, I forgot to say, with the Hellions of Havisham, the reason they're called that is, so the Viscount and the Vixen, you follow the son of the Marquess, who's a little bit mad. The thing with this, in this series, he's this mad Marquess whose friends died, and so you have like the twins that I talked about, and the main male character in the first book, in Falling into Bed with the Duke. And when their parents died, the Marquess took them in. But the problem with the Marquess, so he had these 3 boys plus his own son. And the problem with him is he's gone a little bit mad when his wife died. So he still really, really loved those boys, but he just really lost everything because the love of his life died. And this book, you actually follow his son. And the Mad Marquess really wants his son to fall in love and to have a happily ever after. So he actually, the father gets engaged to this very young girl or woman who apparently he thinks, like the Viscount, so the son of the Marquess, thinks that she's a fortune hunter. What he doesn't know is that she's actually pregnant, and since the Mad Marquess already has an heir, she doesn't feel bad about, marrying him, then passing off her baby who's not his as his, because it's not gonna do anything with the actual, like, family line. But the son, actually, he doesn't want his father to do that, so he marries her, and that, like, kind of throws all her plans in the wrench, because at this point, she's gonna pass off her illegitimate child as an heir, which she didn't want to do. Once again, drama. Like I said, I was kind of disappointed with the first book because I had such high expectations for it, but I really hope that the second and third book are going to live up to those expectations. Yeah, and then the novella is actually about the Marquess and when he fell in love. So that is going to be very sad, I'm pretty sure. And then the last series I really, really want to finish is the Nashville Neighborhood series. So this is basically a series, a very sexy series with like pairings that are kind of unconventional. So I read The Doctor, which is the first book, and I read The Frat Boy, which is the fourth book. And I loved, especially The Frat Boy. That is going to be probably one of my favorite books I read this year. Fucking loved it. The Doctor was fine. I was not really that impressed with it, but I did enjoy it. And I do really like Nikki Sloan's writing. So I really want to finish this series. I do have to say, especially The Pool Boy is going to be weird to read during winter time because this is a very, very summery cover. But this, you actually follow a best friend's son story. So it's an older woman, younger man romance. And basically he is an aspiring musician and she's like this agent, I'm pretty sure. But she's also his neighbor and he is her pool boy because his mother is best friends with her. So one day, I think she divorces from her husband. Like she's already divorced and then he's there cleaning her pool and then there's like this mutual masturbation scene that I heard about. Sign me up any day of the week. Anyway, I'm very interested because I don't really like... I do like older woman, younger men stories, but I don't like when there is somebody has a dream. Like, for example, he wants to be a musician and she can give that to him. Those dynamics usually don't work for me, but I guess we'll see. The Architect is going to be a MFM story, which was again not really my favorite. If there's going to be a polyamorous relationship, I prefer to be MMF, so everybody kind of having sex with each other, and MFM is the guys only having sex with her. Anyway, this is about a girl who we met. I already met her in the Doctor, and I really liked her. She has like this crush on her neighbor, so one day I don't know, they interact and they start having a thing. But the problem is her neighbor, Clay, he has to go out of town a lot. So his solution is to get somebody else in the mix and have him be like his hands and everything, like his mouth, his anything. So basically he, from a distance, giving this man directions on how to touch her. So he's going to be like an extension of Clay. I don't know. It sounds interesting. Not a book I've read before. Like I said, I've read plenty of MMFs. I've never read this kind of dynamic, so I'm very interested to see what I'm gonna feel about it. And then The Good Girl is the one I'm looking forward to most. This is Preston's story and Colin's sister's story. So basically it's a brother's best friend slash friend's sister story. Preston is actually the son from the Doctor. So basically in the Doctor, it's a ex's dad story. So you meet Preston in the Doctor and he's kind of douchey. And his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, starts sleeping with his dad. And I felt like, honestly, even though he was a dick, I feel like they did him wrong. So I was looking forward to his story. And this story is actually a teach me scenario. She's a virgin and he's gonna teach her all his wicked ways. I'm so interested in this one. Like I said, the Doctor, I didn't view him as the bad guy as they made him out to be. I felt like at one point, at certain points, they were the bad people. So I'm very much looking forward to reading his story and just finishing off this series. I don't know if this is going to be the last in the series. Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know what kind of couple she's going to come up with next, unless they're brand new couples. Because I feel like everybody that we met already has an HEA. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. Either way, if she's going to finish it or not, I just want to either finish the series or get caught up on it. So these are all the books that are a very high priority for me to finish by the end of the year. Definitely let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these books and what your thoughts were. Also, I would really love to know what are your priority reads, books that you have to get to by the end of the year. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know by leaving a like if you did. And thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day and I'll talk to you later. Bye.